starry-eyed. Hello and welcome to Monday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where we've got something quite unusual to have a crack at today. The puzzle on the screen is called N is for Naomi, and that, well, it's a puzzle that Fool on Hill has made for his daughter, Naomi, obviously, whose birthday it is, I think, in a week's time. So happy birthday for then, Naomi. I hope the chocolate cake is good. But we are doing this because I did the sort of forerunner to this puzzle on the channel. I've got that here to show you. I did this a week or two ago, and apparently the version we're going to try today is the grown-up version of this puzzle. This was considered the mere bagatelle, a trifle by comparison. Apparently this one is harder, and the main difference is that, hang on, I think it had German whispers, that one. Yeah, it looks more regularly shaped, doesn't it, this one? But this one has Dutch whispers, these sort of prism shapes in it. Anyway, I'm intrigued by the idea. Apparently, the logic is similar to that first puzzle. Now, that would be great if I'd actually revised what the first puzzle involved, but I haven't, beyond remembering it. It was probably something to do with Fistemafel. So I'm quite looking forward to trying this. I like the idea that there's sort of primer puzzles that you do, and you sort of you get familiar with a certain logic, and then you do the big boy version. So we'll have a look at this, and I'll read the rules to you in a moment or two's time. Couple of things to mention before we kick off, though. We are streaming tonight at 10 p.m. UK time back in the Blueprints Mansion. Love to have your company if you're around. So do join us then. I'll try and remember to put a link to that on the screen. We announced the winner yesterday of this month's competition, which was Blobs' indexing Sudoku hunt. So that Meryl Jansen, I think, was the winner. I have written to Meryl. I haven't heard back yet, so I don't know whether there's going to be a bonus video involving a solve with a viewer, but we'll keep our fingers crossed. And on the 1st of April, which is fast approaching, we're going to have a new Sudoku competition launching over on Patreon, which is going to be Fog of War, Sandra and Nala's Fog of War Sudoku hunt. So I know that will be very popular with those of you who enjoy, Fog of War and Sandra and Nala puzzles, and that they are going to be very happy with what we've got for the 1st of April, which I suppose that's April Fool's Day, isn't it? Normally we get a cacophony of submissions around this time intended to be for April Fool's Day. I think we've had one or two only this time. Anyway, I don't know what April Fool's Day will involve. We shall see. What else can I tell you about, though? Oh, there's a massive fly that's just flown in. At least it's not a wasp. I don't have to worry. If it's not a wasp or a hornet, I battle on. Let's do a birthday. I've got one birthday to do today. Pear, you've turned 34. And I know this because your girlfriend Zoe wrote to me. I think the two of you are over in Sweden. I think you've both been watching the Sudoku videos for a while, but now have started to get into the cryptic crossword videos as well. And hopefully you're checking out the Minute Cryptic videos that we're doing every day, cracking the Minute Cryptic. I'm incredibly impressed by this as well, because your pair is apparently very good at these and is doing them in his second language. I tried to think about that, if I was faced with a cryptic crossword clue in French or something, and I was having to, work out the subtleties of it, it would be, I think, incredibly difficult. So I am very impressed by anybody who attempts cryptic crossword clues in second, third, fourth languages, whichever one it is. And Pear, I hope you have a great birthday today. I hope the chocolate cake is magnificent and, of course, festively iced. That's all the news, I think. Probably is. Shall we have a look at the puzzle? N is for Naomi. By Fool on Hill. There is nothing, by the way, foolish about Fool on Hill. I discovered, I've known Fool on Hill is a phenomenal solver for years, but I discovered when I did the previous puzzle, what was that one called? Dancing in a Ring. that Foulon Hill is also a fantastic setter. So I'm quite well, I always look forward to the puzzles, but I'm intrigued indeed by this one. And the rules are as follows. We've got normal Sudoku rules applying. So we're going to have to put the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, and every 3 by 3 box. On an orange Dutch whisper line, adjacent digits differ by at least 4. So if this digit was a 1, this digit would have to be at least 5 in order to be sufficiently different. It could be 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9. I don't know if you can see that. That is the enormous fly that has just flown in front of my face. Bad fly. That was one of the first horror films I saw. Was it David Cronenberg? Did he create The Fly? I watched that when I was far too young to watch it, and it was quite traumatic, believe me. Anyway, moving swiftly on, I do not want to think about flies. Right, so we've done Dutch whispers. Digits on a pink Renban line form a consecutive set with no repeats. So if that was a 1, those digits would have to be 2, 3, and 4 in some order to make sure that the line overall contained a consecutive series. And the order doesn't matter. You can put them in, they could be in that order, 1, 2, 3, 4, but they don't have to be. They could be in that order as well. It's perfectly fine. Right, digits separated by a white dot are consecutive. So let's look at this one. If that was 3, this could either be 4 or 2 to be consecutive with 3. Where digits are separated by a black dot, one is double the other. So if this was a 4, this could be a 2 because 4 is double 2, or it could be an 8 because 8 is double 4. And partial... Oh, right, so not all possible dots are necessarily given. So that's saying it's perfectly possible for this to be a 2 and this to be a 3, for example. There doesn't have to be a white dot between consecutive digits in the puzzle. It's just we know very specific information about the dominoes that do have black and white dots given. Do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual, but now I get to play. Let's get cracking. Now I assume we're going to need fathom. Do I just bash straight into the proof? I mean, we must need it, mustn't we? I know we needed it in the previous puzzle. So fathom is this theorem, I suppose, that exists in all Sudoku puzzles in which those 2x2s in the corners of any Sudoku puzzle, you can practice this, in a Sudoku in the newspaper, you will find it is true. These indigo cells, there are 16 of them, are the exact same digits as those 16 cells around the central 3x3 box. And we can prove that very straightforwardly, or relatively straightforwardly, with a bit of colouring. So the way I did this on Numberphile, I've said that before on the channel, but I am known to repeat myself. What we'll do to prove it is we'll highlight those cells and we'll think about how we could describe the contents of those cells. Now you can see there I've highlighted the whole of row 3, the whole of row 7, the whole of box 4 and the whole of box 6. So we know that these green cells contain exactly 4-digit 1s, 4-digit 2s, 4-digit 3s, because there's going to be 1 of each digit in this row, 1 of each digit in this row, 1 of each digit in that box, 1 of each digit in that box, so all the way through to 4 9s. There are 4 of every digit in those green cells. Now, I'm going to highlight in a different colour these 4 columns of the Sudoku. Now again, in this column, we know there will be 1 of each digit. In this column, we know there will be 1 of each digit. Same is true here, same is true here. So we know that indigo cells overall also contain 4-digit 1s, 4-digit 2s, all the way through to 4-digit 9s. So the composition overall of indigo and green is identical. That's just true. That is a true statement. Now, so what would happen? We know that these indigo cells contain exactly the same thing as the green cells. What would happen if we took this particular cell out of indigo and out of green? what could we say now about what remains in indigo and what remains in green? And the point that you have to get clear on your head, if it's true, is that what remains in indigo and what remains in green must still be equal to one another, because we had the same thing in each set, and then we took the same thing out of both sets, because this cell's contents was in indigo and in green, and I took it out of both. So I no longer know exactly what digits remain in indigo and exactly what digits remain in green, but I do know that they're still exactly the same. And I can do that for all cells that are in both indigo and green. And by doing that, we get the Fistomophel ring. So that is the proof. And this puzzle is going to somehow need me to understand. Yeah, the old one. That had something to do with. I've remembered the old one. Right. Okay. So the old one, you could equate the green things in the middle to the indigo things in the outside. So can we do the same thing here? By which I mean, can I equate the prisms to the outside? I think we can. Yeah, okay, I can. That's actually not too bad. So, Maverick's flying over in celebration of your birthday, Naomi. Now, here is a point. And I don't know if this is going to be relevant to solving it, but it's something that I can see now I've thought about the old one. And I'm going to do it for this one. I know that indigo, this collection of indigo, is the same as the collection of green. But let's look at this cell. Let's make it red. Let's look at this cell. Where is that in box 5? Now, I don't know is the answer. But what I do know is it doesn't repeat on the Renban line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, hang on. Right, hang on a sec. Let me just think about that. Maybe that's important that this is all 9 digits. It doesn't look like 9 digits to me, but apparently it is. No, okay, I don't think it matters. In fact, it makes sense because those 6 cells are going to be those 6 cells. Yeah, okay, so it is the same point. So this digit in this box, where is it? It's not on. It can't repeat on the Renban line because of the rules of Renban. So it is one of the prism cells in the middle box. But the same is going to be true for all these cells, isn't it? They've all got to appear somewhere in box 5. And therefore those 6 cells are going to be, they can't repeat. None of these digits can repeat because they're on a Renban line. So they are the prism cells in box 5. So what we can do is we can take them out of green. So at the So at the moment we know that green and indigo are the same, but I know that those 6 cells are the same as these 6 cells in box 5. So effectively, I've got this transposition of Fistomophel going on, where I've got 2 prisms of Dutch whispers. And there must be 6. Yeah, there are 16. There are 16 cells of Dutch whispers here that are the same digits as the indigo cells in the corners. I'd love to know if that was some sort of, if there's some logic that would allow us to know that. That would be very interesting. I really don't want to think about the Dutch whispers lines. I'm not very good at Dutch whispers. Or at least I don't find them nearly so intuitive as I find German whispers. So German whispers, green versions of this line where adjacent digits have to differ by at least 5, and they have properties that are they're very cool, and I'm sort of used to dealing with them. Now, Dutch whispers I do still deal with quite a lot on the channel, but I don't find them nearly... The problem with Dutch whispers is that you can't use the oscillation principle. So you have to sort of qualify the oscillation principle. What's the oscillation principle? Well, imagine that there was no 5 anywhere on this prism. Then we would look at this digit. We would know, because it's not 5, it either has the quality of being below 5 or above 5. And we know the next digit would also have that quality. But crucially, if you think about it, if this was lower than 5, could this also be lower than 5? No, because 4 and 1 can only be 3 apart maximally. So you get this oscillation. And that exists in German whispers, but it only exists in Dutch whispers if 5 isn't possible. Because, and the reason that 5 is a problem is oh, this can't be a 5, but imagine this was a 5, that could be a 1, and that could be a 9. And these two are not now from the same family of low or high, which they would be on a German whispers line. So 5, bobbins, and actually this has to have at least 1 5 on it. Because imagine it didn't. What we've just shown is if this line doesn't have 5 on it, you can't put two digits that are of the same family, say 2 lower than 5 digits together. So this would be higher than 5, this would be lower than 5, etc. Let's just keep going and you'll see the problem. Look, though, because of the way this line is geometrically, these two cells would be together on the line, and they can't be. So there has to be a 5, creating a sort of polarity switch somewhere at least in the perimeter of the prism. Now, I wonder if we have to sort of, because there could be more than 1 5, but then there would, oh goodness, actually that's horrific. I've just had a horrible thought. I was about to say that you can, in order to achieve the polarity switch that we know must exist on the Dutch whispers line, you could do that with an odd number of 5s, which you could have here if you had 3 5s actually. Although, can that actually be a 5? 5? No. Okay. So the way that the polarity shift is achieved on this line is actually just with 1 5. In theory, you could have had 3 5s and had sort of 3 changes of polarity, but to have 3 5s on this prism, you'd have to put a 5 in each row, which would make this a 5, and that can't be a 5 because these would only be selectable from 1s and 9s, and there are 3 of them. So you'd definitely have a repeat in row 4. So right now, this is where it gets tricky though, because what I was going to say is that the prism contained 1 5. Therefore, that's not true. The prism contains 1 5 that changes the polarity, so is surrounded by 1 and 9, but it could have probably, yeah, it could there. If that was a 5, you could surround that with 2 1s, say, and that doesn't change the polarity on the line, but it does put another 5 on it. So there is... So all you actually know is there has to be at least 1 5 on here, and there has to be at least 1 5 on there, but there could be more. Oh, goodness me. Okay, so See, this is very different, I think, from that earlier puzzle. One of the reasons that 5 is such an interesting number is, let's say there didn't have to be 5s on, and I'm sure that was the case with the other puzzle. If there were no 5s on the prisms, and unfortunately we know there's at least one on this prism and at least one on this prism, but imagine there was no 5, well then these Renbans become super interesting. They become the antithesis of me at a party. They are people you want to go and chat to, because if they can't have 5 on them, they have to be extreme. They're 4 consecutive digits, so they'd have to be either 1, 2, 3, 4 or 6, 7, 8, 9. And that I think was the idea around that earlier puzzle, because then you could say even more interesting things. Don't joke. Like, if this was 1, 2, 3, 4, this couldn't also be 1, 2, 3, 4, because then you couldn't put 1, 2, 3, 4 in the column. So then you would know these were the same variation of extreme Renban. But we can do no such thing here, because we know that there is at least... Oh, hang on, no, I've got this wrong. I've got this wrong, haven't I? My phone's buzzing at me. Maybe that's to tell me I've got it wrong. Hang on, I can't... I've got a problem, haven't I? Because let's say this was a 5. I know that... Oh, no, I haven't got it wrong. Well, I might have got it wrong. Oh, no, this is... Right. Okay, I've got something here. Okay. We know that in the perimeter of this prism shape... I'm not including this digit, that's just too complicated to think about. But in the perimeter, in order to correct the polarity, there has to be a 5 between a 1 and a 9. We've proved that, because otherwise we're going to get 2 digits the same at 2 digits from the same flavour, either both above 5 or both below 5 in this perimeter, and that's impossible according to the rules. So there is a 5 somewhere in that perimeter that is between a 1 and a 9 to correct the polarity. But that means... Yeah, this is important. This is definitely important, because that means that on each prism there's not only a 5, but there is a 1 and a 9. And that means, well, yeah, I think this is huge, because what that means is how many digits... What we therefore know is these prisms collectively contain 6 of the digits that are 5s, 1s and 9s, at least. They contain definitely 2 1s, definitely 2 5s and definitely 2 9s, because each prism must have a 5 in its perimeter, surrounded by 1 and 9. Now, how many of those 1s, 5s and 9s can you put on that? And the answer is 1. If I put 1 on there, it's got 2, 3 and 4 on it. If I put 9 on there, it's 9, 8, 7, 6. If I put 5 on there, I can't get to a 1 or a 9. I could go 5, 4, 3, 2 or 5, 6, 7, 8, but I'll never get to a 1 or a 9. So these 3 thingies can contain a maximum of 3 of those 6 digits, 1, 5 and 9, which means 3 of them have to be in there. Well, and I can't repeat a digit in there, so this has to be 1, 5 and 9. And you can't put 5 or 9 on black dots. You just can't do it. If you put 5 here, this would be 2.5 or 10. If you put 9 here, this would be 4.5 or 18. So that is a 5-9 pair, I think. And this has to have a 1. So these have to have a 2, because what are you going to put on a black currant, as Marty would call them, that's either double 1 or half 1? The only Sudoku digit is 2. So one of those is a 2. And well, one of these is 1, 2, 3, 4. One of them is 9, 8, 7, 6, and one of them is 5 with something. So if that's 1, 2, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, then those digits would be 1 and 2. If that's 1 and 2, and this was 1, 2, 3, 4, well, then you probably have to put 1s and 2s there. But that's sort of a nested if, isn't it? It's if this and this, then this. But it doesn't, I mean, that doesn't have to be 1, 2, 3, 4. And even if it was, we could have 1 and 2 here. So, oh goodness, Bitdefender's jumped up on me again. Let me just check that hasn't messed around with the recording. I think we're okay. So, I mean, that's lovely. The logic that's got us this 5-9 pair is lovely. So if there is a 9 in either of those Renbans, and there could only be one 9. Yeah, but because, just use a little aid memoir here. We've got a 1, 2, 3, 4 in one of these. We've got a 6, 7, 8, 9, because we know 9 is on one of these. We've got a 5 with something. I don't know what. A, B, C. And then we've got this one, which is 1, 5, I'm going to say 159X, where X is a black dottable digit. Oh, but bobbins, I wanted to put X in. How do I do that? I like that. There we go. But there could be an overlap between X and A, B, and C as well. So what is that telling me? One thing it's telling me is that these prisms only have 1 5 on them each, I think. Because I can't put another 5 in here, and whichever one of these rings has 5 on it, it can't have a second 5. So there's only 2 5s in indigo, which means there's 2 5s on the prisms, and we know on each prism we need 1 5 between a 1 and a 9 to correct the perimeter whisper logic. So I'm almost tempted to try and cross off digits that I know are on the prism, if you see what I mean. Because I know one prism contains 159, so I'm just going to delete 159 from this one. Another prism contains, the other prism contains 159, so I can delete those. And then I know X is a black dot digit that is not 1 or 2, so it's 3, 4, 6, or 8. Ugh. And A, B, and C are consecutive. They form a sequence with a 5 that is a consecutive sequence overall. So they couldn't be 2, 5, 6, 7. That's not going to work. A, B, and C have to be, once you add the 5 to them, they have to be a consecutive sequence. Doesn't mean they have to be 2, 3, 4, 5, or 5, 6, 7, 8. They could be 4, 5, 6, 7, for example. The 5 could help to make them a sequence. I'm actually, I'm not sure, because I sort of feel like we should have the same number of high and low digits overall on the prisms. Oh, bother. I don't know then. I have got to put 6 and 4 definitely on prisms. 6 and 4 are difficult to put on prisms, but not as difficult as 5. 4, if you put 4 on a prism, well, it could go next to double 8. That's the problem. Well, it's got to be next to 8s or 9s. That's true. And 6 has got to be next to 1s and 2s. Yeah, so if you did put 6 on a prism, this is really confusing, actually. If you put 6 on a... Well, we have to put 6 on a prism. If you put 6 on a prism, I'm not sure. I'm not actually sure. I don't think in my head I've quite mapped out. I know each prism has 1, 5, and 9 on it. And it only has... what I'm about to say might not be true. I think it only has 1 of each of those digits on it. Yeah, that is true. That is true. I can't put another 1, 5, or 9 digit in this box. And the only things I don't know about are the A, B, and C digits, which have to form a consecutive set with 5. So they definitely don't involve 1s and 9s. So green, each prism has 1, 5, and 9 on it, definitely. But only 1. So when we put the 6 on a prism, it could go next to the 1 from the 1, 5, 9 triple. But if it doesn't, it would have to go next to 2 2s, wouldn't it? Because it would. Because that's all you could put next to it. So if you... Well, we are going to put 6 onto one of these prisms, definitely. Yeah, so the 6... Okay, so the 6 is going to need a 2, but it can get one. But it might need another 2, but it could get that as well if that was a 2. If that was 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm so sorry. I can't get my head around this. There's something here, isn't there? I think what we have to do probably is allocate the same number of highs and lows overall. So oh, that flies back again. No. I can't deal with you as well. So if I put 6 on, I need to put 2 on, but I might need 2 2s depending on where the 6 goes. But okay. Oh no, now it's a wasp. No, the fly's become a wasp now. That's bad. No, that is bad. Go away. Fly away. The people don't come to the channel to watch me watch a wasp. That's a really weird thing. Go on. Oh, it went back towards the window, but now it's flying around my Lego. Oh dear. Go on, please go away. I don't like wasps. Okay, now it's at the window anyway. Okay. Okay. So if I do... Let me just think this through. So if I put a 6 there, I could definitely have a 1 in one of those, connected to the 159. It might have to be here. This might have to be 5. But then on the other side of the 6, I've got to put a 2. And that's fine because I can. So how does that... Okay, so that just is a thing that exists. So when I put 6 on, which I have to do, can I put 2 2s on? Is that a good question? And how would I achieve that? If I put 6 on, I could put 2 on this one. I couldn't put 2 on that one because the 2... I've got a 2 that's not in the ring, so x can't be 2, but I could put a 2 in there, and that would make that 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I put 6 on, I could put 2 2s around it. It is possible to do that. So, I don't know. That seems fine. I don't think it's going to be different. 6 and 4 are the difficult digits. So if I put 4 on, I have to put... I could put the 9. I could put 9, 5, 1, for example. That's fine. I know on at least one side of the 4 I'll have to have an 8 because I can't put 2 9s. We've worked out there's only 1 9 on each prism, so I would be putting at least 1 8. But I've got an 8. I haven't got 2 8s. I could have 2 8s though, and 8s are actually easier, aren't they? Because I could have, unlike with 2, which I couldn't make x, I could put an 8 in one of those, and that would be okay, I think. Wow. So that, I think that's fine. I think it works either way, and the fact that you've got to put 6s and 4s on the prism, they sort of balance out with the fact that we've got another Renban that has the required digits on it naturally without having to interfere with A, B, C, and X. Oh dear, please stop buzzing around. Okay. How do I do it then? What on earth do we do here? Oh dear, it's getting closer. I find it very difficult to concentrate when there's a stinging insect near me. So let's take stock of what we know. We know we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 6, 7, 8, 9. We've got 5 with something. And maybe you can't have 5 with 4 and 6. Maybe that puts too much pressure on the world. That would still be an interesting conclusion, actually, wouldn't it? So sorry, let me try and explain. So I know one of the Renbans, this one, the one with A, B, and C, that has 5 on it. And it could just have one of 4 and 6 if it goes 2, 3, 4, 5, for example. Or it could have both if it's, say, 4, 5, 6, 7. But if it does have both, then I need extra... Oh, hang on, what do I need then? Then I need extra 8s and extra 2s. No, that's it. That's it. Wow. Okay, when I say it, it's not really it. And oh no, now there's a fly and a wasp. I wonder how they're going to interact together. And the fly, maybe the fly can lead the wasp out. Yeah, but here is something interesting. So if A, B, C, let's just say that they were this. Don't worry about the 7 too much, but the point is that they have 4 and 6 on them. Now, our prisms we know they've got 2 4s on them, and we know they've got 2 6s on them. Now, we also know that whenever we put a 4 on a prism, the 4, it had to be surrounded by either 8s or 9s, but there's only one 9 available. So every time you put a 4 on, you're putting at least one 8 on. Now in this world, we've now got 2 4s on prisms, so we have to put 2 8s on. Okay, I've got 1 8 here. This one can't get to 8 because 4, 5, 6, 7 or 3, 4, 5, 6 don't get to 8. So this would have to be an 8. X would have to be an 8. Oh, hang on, this might even go further. Hang on, I've just had a different thought. Well, we might be able to extend this, but let's just keep going. So we're still fine at this point, but then we've got to deal with 2 6s. Now 6 has the same quality. When you put 6 on, you can have 1 on one side of it, that's fine, but you must have at least 1 2 around it. You could have 2 2s, but you must have at least 1 2. And we've got 1 2 available, but we can't make X here a 2, and you can't get this Renban to a 2, because you've got a 5. If you're going to have 4 and 6 on it, you can't get to a 2. So you can put, so you've got 2 6s to place on the prisms, and 2 2s are necessary, and there's only 1 2 here because X can't be 2 because of these black dots. So this ABC Renban is not. It's it's sort of extreme within the panoply of things it can be. It can be. It's either 2 3 4 5, or it's 5 6 7 8. It has to be one of those things. So I'm just going to put those options in, and let me just think this through. Now the wasp it looks like it's trying to make a nest. Hopefully it can't do that quickly. So whichever one of those it is, it's going to create. Does it need to have? I'm wondering if that has to be. Like the escape valve for the pressure. This is. Yeah. How could it be how could ABC be 5 6 7 8? That's the question I'm going to ask. I don't think it works, because for this very specific reason, if this is the correct version of the ABC Renban, which also has 5 on it, of course, but if this is the correct, you can see now we've got 2 6s in the indigo cells, which means we've got 2 6s in the prism cells. We know that each prism has a maximum of 1 1 that could be used to help that 6 out and give it a digit that's next to it. But on the other side of the 6 from that 1, each 6 will require a 2. Where are they getting those from? I've got 1 2 on the 1 2 3 4 Renban, but I would have to have a 2 as my extra digit on this 2 by 2. I can't have it, because of this black dot's pushing the 2 out of the 2 by 2. So it's not that one, it's this one. And that actually, I'm really chuffed with being able to work that out. Under pressure from a wasp. I should call that the video. Man battles wasp and Sudoku. Now, does that mean that that's an 8 is the question now, I think. because we now know there are 2 4s on the prisms. We know each 4 can only, it's going to have 8 or 9 on each side of it, but it can only have 1 9 on any prism, so it must have an 8 on any prism it's on. And there are 2 4s, so there are 2 8s necessary, and I've only got 1 8 in my collection, so x is 8, and that is a 1 8 pair over here. And 1 8 must go with 2 4, and these digits are 3 6 7, and I don't. Right, so now if it's all right, I don't know if what I might do, I might restore the gaps now, so we can just look at the digits overall on these Renbans. So this one is 159, isn't it? So these are the 2x2s in the corners, and obviously this one is that one, so let's just delete that one. Although, should we? Because this is also, of course, the total panoply of digits on the green prisms. So I don't know what that's doing. So the prisms. So the prisms have somewhere on each prism there is a string that's 159. Somewhere on a prism there's got to be 1 4 on each prism, because there's only because wherever you put a 4, it's got to have 2 qualifying digits on either side of it. And the only digits that can be next to 4 on Dutch Whispers are 8s and 9s. And we know each prism contains a 9. So the 9s are going to be necessary to be next to the 4s. And then on the other side of the 4, there's going to be an 8. Now, what I don't think I can say, and I might be wrong, is I'm wondering if I can now say that it's the perimeter that must contain the sequence 15948. I doubt that's true, because could I go, for example, 1 5 9 or 8 like that? And now obviously this 15948 sequence, it exists on the prism, but it doesn't exist in the perimeter of the prism. That might be possible, actually. Yeah, that might be possible. So I don't know then. How do we do this? Oh, golly, I don't know, actually. Maybe I know what these are somehow. So this one is either 1 2 3 4. Don't see a problem with that. 6 7 8 9. That would put 9 into one of those, and 8. But 8, well, actually maybe that doesn't work. Hang on, let me just think about that. If this was 6 7 8 9 and this is 8 9, then 8 and 9 have to be, oh, they could just be there and there. That's fine. I say it's fine, I mean it's probably fine. They obviously can't go next to each other on the Whisper. Okay, so I can't see an immediate problem with that, actually. Or this is 2 3 4 5. That's going to put 5 on the Dutch Whisper. 5 1 9. That would be a 2. Or 5 here. That again would be 1 9. Oh no, okay, I don't think I know, do I? Oh, that's distressing. I'm sorry. Okay. So I mean, it's a brilliant puzzle. It's a brilliant puzzle. Because it sort of leads you on a journey, doesn't it? You start off and you think, I don't see what to do. But the more you think about it, the more you realise, actually, there are restrictions that are sort of lying underneath the surface. And you can unearth them if you're clever enough. Well, not really if you're clever enough, but if you're diligent enough. Now, I feel like I've got more low digits than high digits. If we just look at, I mean, the thing is, 5 can be either low or high in terms of Dutch whispers. But I've definitely got 7 lows, 8 lows that are not 5. And I've got 4 highs, 6 highs, and 2 5s. So it feels like the 5s are going to have to do extra duty. 5s are going to have to work as sort of high digits. Because you're going to have, say you had 1 5 9 there. Oh, I can't quite figure this out, can I? Why am I so stupid? It's so annoying. Why can't my brain just see this clearly? Ah! If I go 1 5 9, which I have to do, somewhere in the perimeter of this prism is a 1 5 9 sequence to correct the polarity. And then I'm going to have 2 more dominoes. So you can see the length of this perimeter is odd. So if this was 1 5 9, for example, then you're going to have 2 more digits here, which will be a low and a high, and 2 more digits there, which will be a low and a high. So apart from the 1 5 9, your balance, yeah, okay, so that is important, isn't it? That is important for this reason. It tells us this digit is low. Okay, let me try and explain that. So what I've realised is because this perimeter contains a 1 5 and a 9, let's think about the digits that are then adjacent to that 1 5 9 triple. And the best way to do it is just imagine this is 1 5 9, because it brings home the point. Let's look at those two. Well, they can't both be low or both be high, and they don't involve 5 because the prism only has 1 5 on it. So this will be 1 low and 1 high. But the same is true of these 2 digits. That will be 1 low and 1 high. So overall, this prism contains 3 lows. The perimeter of the prism, I should say, contains 3 lows, 3 highs, and 1 5. And so does this one. But that means we've used up all of the high digits, because we've only got 6 high digits. We've got 8, 9, and 6, 7, 8, 9. That's all of them gone. So this digit, which we haven't catered for in considering the perimeter, has to be one of the low digits, which we did have an excess of. It can't be 5, because that won't. The perimeter needs the change of polarity. So this has to be 2, 3, or 4, and that has to be 2, 3, or 4. Now, what does that mean? I don't know, but I think what we could probably do, 2, 3, or 4 definitely can't be next to 5 or 1. So this has to be high. I see what this is doing straight away, actually. This is huge. I just want to double check this is right. There is no possibility that is. No, there isn't. Right. It could be 6 if this is 2, but this is 6, 7, 8, 9. This is 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, this is the exciting thing I've noticed. Now we can ask, which Renban is the 6, 7, 8, 9 Renban, because it's not that one, and it's not that one, and we know it's not that one, so it's that one. That is the 6, 7, 8, 9 Renban, and that one has disappeared. Well, I suppose that one's disappeared. We've allocated that one, so we've got to allocate 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. It's or 2, 3, 4, 5. It's definitely got 2, 3, and 4 on it, and that one is the same. And therefore, right, what about that one? That's also 6, 7, 8, 9. That's also 6, 7, 8, 9. And the polarity works, so that makes sense. So this one and this one, they are next, but they could be next to a 9, in which case they could be 5. So they are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one can't be 5, because remember 5 is going to change the polarity. So that's got to be 1, 2, 3, or 4. Oh, it could be 4, couldn't it? It could be between 8 and 9 bobbins. Okay, that one's 1, 2, 3, or 4. This one is 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. This one is 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. We've got this black dot that might come into play. But the problem is, once 5 is an option, the polarity could change. So that's going to have loads of options, I think. Maybe that one doesn't, because it's on a black dot. So, oh, it could be 1, couldn't it? Oh, it probably is a 1. 5, 1. If it's not 1, it can't be 2, 3, or 4, because they will be too close to this digit. So it would be 6 or 8 if it's not 1. So this digit is either 2, 3, or 4 by Sudoku. Well, not Sudoku, but by black dot logic. It's either a 1 next to a 2, a 6 next to a 3, or an 8 next to a 4. So that is a low digit. And that is, wow, that's also low, but it could be just about anything. It's very close to being really cool. No, I can't even do anything with it. I thought I was going to get something in those two. So, okay, so 1 of 2, 3, and 4, because this can only have, that can only be 2 or 4. So whatever this isn't is in that sequence. Along with 1 or 5. 1 or 5 has to be in this sequence. So how can that be 1? That doesn't feel like it works to me. That's 1. That's 5. Oh, no, hang on, but you can only put 1 of 1 and 5 on there. If that's 1, that's 5. So, I mean, this will have 1 or 5 on it, that's true. But the other digits will all be 2, 3, and 4. Yeah, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. If this is 1, it's quite tricky to see, but if this is 1, this is 5. And I've not put 2, 3, and 4 into this row, and they can't go here because 2 and 3 and 4 are on this Renban. So where are we going to put them? We can put one of them here, one of them in that domino, a 3, and one of them would have to go here next to a 1, but it would be a 2, 3, or a 4. You can't do it. So that is not 1. This is 6 or 8, and that's going to put, well, that means this isn't 5, doesn't it? It does. So, nearly. Wait, that's it, I've done it. Where's 5 on the top prism? Where is 5 on the top prism? It can't go there, because it can't be next to 1 or 9. And if it can't be there, I think it's only got one place it can go. 5, 9, 1, changing the polarity. Oh, that could be anything. Oh, does that... Hang on. We know 4 has to be next. Yes, yes. This is gorgeous. I know that 4 needed to be next to the 9 on this thingy. Well, I don't know which one of these it is, but it's one of them. And then 4 needed to rank the 8, didn't it? So that's an 8, that's a 6, that's a 3. This is a 2 or a 4. These don't include 3. So those do. So that's not a 3. Oh, look, 6. I can just put it in. 6. This is not 3 because it sees 3. So there's a 2-4 pair in the row. So 5 and 9 have to be... Oh, 5 and 9 have to be here. So there's no 5 on that thingy. Thingy being the technical term for 4-cell Renban. Those 2 digits are 6 and 7. No memeing. That I can do the order actually. Oh, bother. I thought I was going to get more from that. 9. Where is... Oh, yes, lovely. Where's 9 in box 2? Don't know. But it's in one of those 2. And that's looking at that cell. 5 in the corner. 9 here. 5 not in... Oh, well, wait a sec. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. So that one has got to not be 1, 2, 3, 4. That's got to be 2, 3, 4, 5, which was our other Renban. So this is massive now. 5. I've now got a 2, 3, 4 triple in the column. So the 3 of that triple is in the bottom domino. I know one of those is a 4, so that is not a 4. There's only one 4 on this top Renban. So that's not 2. I don't know how many 1s and 2s and things it has to have on it. That's so pathetic, isn't it? That's a 2, so that's a 4. So this is a 1, 2 pair, which means this is 8, this is 4, this is 1, this is 2. This is a 3, 4 pair in the top of the grid. This digit is known and is a 5 by Sudoku. These digits are a 7, 8, 9 triple. Oh, this is fantastic. Isn't it fantastic? We're actually getting a bit of this done, you know. 4, 3, 6, 5. So that's not 3 or 5 now. That's definitely not 9. So 9. Where's 9? I know there's a 9 on there. It's not there. So it's either there or there. And it will be surrounded. Oh no, a different question and a much more obvious question. There is a 5 on this bottom prism. Where's that? It seems to only have one per place. Sorry, I didn't notice that. So I don't know how long that's been available for, but it's very useful, isn't it? And now, don't we know that the 9 has to be next to a 4, because the 4 has to have it's only got 1 8 to use. So I think that has to be 4, because this one can't be, and that has to be 8. So that is an 8. This has to be 2, that has to be 3. I mean, this is unbelievable. It's sort of coming together. That's a 4 now. Oh, so it was internal. It was internal. And I bet you I can work that out. If I was diligent, I could do this. Right, I've had 2 1s on the prism. Does that make sense? Yes, that one and the one over there. I should have 2 2s. I've got them. I should have 2 3s. I don't have them. I've only got 1. I definitely have to have 2. So that's a 3 by dint of our sort of set-based logic. So there's a 3 in one of these cells. This is a 2 3 pair, apparently. So that is a 4 5 pair. 6 is in one of those 2 cells by Sudoku. That probably isn't very useful. 5 is in one of those 2 cells by Sudoku. It's probably going to be this Renban that's going to sort this out now. Let's look at these 3 cells in the middle of the grid. They are 1, 6, and 7. So the middle of the grid is 7, I think. 716. 7 has now appeared on the Renban, so that sorts this digit out. And the other digits that are necessarily going to be put on this Renban, which was 9 cells, remember, are 24589. So 8 has to be in one of those, so that's 8. So 2459 now. So this is a 5. It sees 2, 4, and 9, and this is a 2, 4, 9 triple, and the 9 must be here. And this is a 2, 4 pair, which is going to tell us these digits as 1 and 5 now, which tells us these digits as 2, 3, or 4. Oh, look, I've not put this digit in on the prism. Maybe a 7. I must have 1 7 on the prism. Yeah, there's a 7 in that Renban, so that we need to put a 7 on one of the prisms. It goes there. 1 and 2, flanking it nicely. That's beautiful. Oh, that's exciting. This digit is not 7, so it's 9. That's 7. This is just remarkable. What about, oh no, okay, maybe I don't know that. But I've got lots of information now in columns 4, 5, and 6. I need a 2, 9 pair there. I need a 4 something pair, 4, 8 pair there. And I need a 3, 6 pair there. Right, what goes on this dot? This is an odd number, so to be consecutive with this, it must need an even number. So, that therefore becomes a 3. Oh! That's 3 in the corner, that's 3 in the spotlight, losing its religion. Look, we can do some tidying over here. Well, maybe we do the bottom of this column. What do we need there? 1, 7. So that's become 6, 8. This has become 7, 9. If that's 6, 8, this is 4. 4, 4, 5, 8. These two digits are something. 6, 8. Yeah, I can do that. 8, 6. These digits are 1, 7, 9. I can put the 9 in, and the 1 and the 7. These digits are 2, 3, 6. I can do the 6. Please work. Just please work. These digits are 1, 7. Okay, what about these? These digits are 5, 8. Oh, so it's going to be this dot, is it? Yeah, that dot's really restricted. That has to be 5 to be consecutive with that digit. So that's great. That does it. Look. Well, when I say does it, it certainly makes a big difference. This is now an 8. This is a 4. That's another 3 in the corner, I think. That's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spotlight, losing its religion. 7, 1, 1, 2, 2 something, 6. Wow. Oh, 6, 8. Boom. Boom. Oh, happy birthday, Naomi. Hope you enjoyed the challenge. I enjoyed the challenge. How long's that taken me? That has flown past. And I battled a wasp. It only mentally, but I still did. 68 minutes. That is a fantastic Sudoku puzzle. Wow. Wow. I don't know, I wonder whether that's quicker or slower than I did the other one. I mean, certainly I was hugely helped by having had some of these thoughts before. But I did find thinking through these Dutch whispers quite difficult. I apologise if I made a bit of a meal of that. I was definitely interrupted by the wasp. But I loved that. I loved it. Brilliant. Happy birthday, Naomi. And Fool on Hill, you are something else. Let me know in the comments how you got on with the puzzle. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.